In today's episode,
How to write a book in 2025.
How do you even start?
Well, what if I told you that in 2025, writing and sharing your book is easier and honestly way more powerful than ever before?
We're diving deep into Victor Odasnac's draft, How to Write a Book in 2025, to figure out exactly how to do that.
You know, Victor's draft, it doesn't mess around. It jumps right into what's different now in the writing world. And honestly,
Yeah.
it's a huge shift. We've gone from this old idea that publishing a book, it was like winning the lottery, all about reaching everyone.
Right, mass appeal.
Exactly, to something way more focused, more, well, exciting.
It's interesting you say that because it's like the whole find your audience thing has been totally flipped on its head. Victor even uses this phrase, narrowcast writing. What is that?
Think of it this way. Imagine you're a laser beam, not a floodlight.
Okay.
Narrowcast writing, it's about finding your people. Not just anyone, but the readers who are specifically looking for your expertise.
It's kind of like the more specific, the better.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You're more likely to read a whole book about, say, I don't know, sustainable beekeeping
Sure.
if you're actually genuinely into saving the bees, right?
Definitely.
So Victor's saying that's the future of books, making that deep connection with a niche audience, readers who actually crave what you know.
I see what you mean about a paradigm shift. This changes everything. Okay, but there's this other big thing we can't ignore in the world of writing in 2025. AI.
You said it. And this is where Victor's draft gets really, really interesting. He's saying that AI isn't some kind of job stealer for writers. It's actually the opposite. AI is here to help us be better writers. He even breaks down how to use it step by step, starting with brainstorming.
Brainstorming with a bot, that's wild.
It's a game changer, truly. Imagine this. You can feed all your research, your notes, even those half-baked ideas you have at 2 a.m.
Oh, I know those well.
You feed it all to an AI, and then it analyzes everything and gives you back potential themes, chapter outlines, even shows you where your thinking has gaps you didn't notice before.
Hold on. So before I write a single word, AI can help me find what my book is really about at its core.
Yeah.
And then structure it in a way that actually speaks to those laser-focused readers we talked about.
You got it. And this is just the beginning. Victor gets into using AI for everything. Writing a better sentence, even polishing your whole manuscript.
Okay, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I need an AI writing buddy, like yesterday.
Yeah.
But before we go too far, what about that human element, that heart and soul that makes a book really special?
That's where you come in. Victor's really clear about this AI, at least for now, is a tool. It can help you organize your ideas, make your writing better, but it can't be you. It can't replicate your voice, your unique view of the world.
That's what people connect with.
Exactly. It's what makes a book worth reading, and that's not something AI can do.
So it's like AI can be this amazing editor, this research assistant that never sleeps.
I like that.
But you're still the one in charge, deciding what your book is about and giving it your own personal style.
Exactly. And speaking of style, Victor's really big on finding your authentic voice in your writing.
Oh, tell me more about that.
It's not about trying to sound smart or like some kind of expert.
Because that never works.
Right. It's about letting your personality come through in your writing. And that counts even more, Victor argues, when you're writing nonfiction.
This is where I always get tripped up. Like, I want to sound credible, but then I end up sounding like a robot.
Victor talks about this. He says, write like you're talking to your smartest friend. Right. He's basically saying, embrace the things that make you, you.
Yeah.
Your personality, the stories you tell, all of it. Because at the end of the day, writing a book, it's a conversation with a reader.
Mind blown. Okay, so we're finding our niche audience. AI is our new writing buddy, and we need to let our personalities shine. What else does Victor have in store for us? You know, this whole finding your voice thing, it reminds me of something else Victor talks about, the power of storytelling. He's like, even if you're writing nonfiction, you got to weave in stories to keep people hooked.
It's true. Think about the books that have really stuck with you, the ones you still remember, even years later.
Oh, for sure.
They probably had a story, right? Characters, something happening, maybe even some drama.
You're totally right. Even when I'm reading about something complex, it's the stories that pull me in, you know, those little details that make it all real and relatable.
Right. And Victor breaks down how to do it, how to bring that storytelling magic into our own writing. He calls it the power of 3.
Okay, I'm intrigued. The power of 3. Tell me more.
So it's like this, when you're making a point, any point, you back it up with 3 examples, 3 anecdotes. anything.
Interesting.
It's like this classic storytelling thing. It makes your writing flow better, and it helps readers remember things.
The power of three. I love it. So simple, but so powerful. But let's zoom out a little. What about the structure of the whole book? Like, how do we make sure it flows, that it's not just a random jumble of thoughts?
Victor's really big on this idea that a well-structured book is actually more persuasive.
Oh, that's an interesting way to think about it.
He's saying that if you can take your reader on this journey where everything makes sense, one point leading to the next,
Yeah.
it's more powerful than any sales pitch. You're building a case piece by piece until the reader is right there with you.
So it's not just about being tidy, it's strategic.
Exactly. And let's be honest, no one wants to read a book that feels like a tangled up mess.
Yeah, way.
Victor suggests we think of our chapters as a kind of progression, each one building on the last, kind of like a movie.
And you want to keep people on the edge of their seats.
Right. He even talks about building in suspense, dropping little hints, maybe posing questions that keep the reader guessing.
So even nonfiction can be a page-turner.
Exactly, because you want your reader to finish your book and feel like they've been on a journey. And the structure, that's the map that gets them there.
You know, it's cool to think about Victor's own background. He started as an engineer, right?
Right.
And he talks about how even in engineering, writing was about persuasion, getting people on board with projects, explaining complicated stuff. Seems like those experiences really shaped how he sees the power of writing.
Yeah. And it's funny how things connect, because whether you're writing a textbook or a thriller, it all comes down to getting your ideas across.
Yeah.
And Victor's saying that in the world we live in now, with all this information coming at us from every direction, that skill, being able to communicate clearly, that's going to be more and more valuable.
No doubt. Okay, so we've got our niche, AI on our side, we've found our voice, we're telling stories, and structuring our books for maximum impact. But once the book is written, how do we connect with those readers we've been talking about? How do we actually get it out there? So we've poured our heart into this amazing book. It's done. We're ready. Now what? How do we actually get it out there for people to read?
That's where self-publishing comes in. And in 2025, Victor says it's more powerful than ever. He talks about all these platforms: Amazon, KDP, Ingram Spark, Draft2 Digital.
Wow. Okay. It seems like a lot.
It can feel overwhelming, but Victor really zeroes in on two main things to focus on. The first, formatting. You can't just copy-paste your Word doc and hope for the best.
Definitely not.
Right. We have to think about how people actually read on their devices, how to make the book visually appealing, make it easy to read. It's like design, but for books.
Yes, exactly. The second thing, and this is huge EE, your author brand, Victor actually says, think of your book as a launch pad.
Ooh, a launch pad.
Yeah.
For world domination.
Maybe. No, but really think of it as launching yourself as a thought leader.
I like that.
Yeah, the book isn't the finish line, right? It's a way to start conversations, to build a community around the ideas in the book. Victor says use social media, build a website, even start an email list to keep in touch with your readers.
So being an author is less about being some solitary genius hiding away and more about being a guide, someone who helps people explore these ideas.
Yes, 100%. And that's where I think Victor's vision for writing gets really exciting. If we embrace all these tools, if we're smart about who our audience is and what we want to say, that's how we make a real impact. It's a whole different way of looking at things. Seeing your book, not as just a product, but as something that can spark something bigger.
Yes, exactly. And that bigger thing, it can be anything, right? Maybe you change how people see an issue. Maybe you start a movement around something you're passionate about. Writing a book, Victor's saying it can be a powerful act of leadership.
Wow. I'm getting chills. This is making me rethink what it even means to be a writer.
Right. That's what's so cool about this draft. It's more than just tips and how-tos. It's a call to action. It's about showing anyone who has an idea that they can share their story, that their words can matter, and maybe even change the world.
It's like Victor says, the world is hungry for your story. And after spending this time with his ideas, I'm convinced he's right. So, to everyone listening, if you've got a book in you, write it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just start writing. And who knows? Maybe we'll see your book out there in the world, changing minds and sparking conversations in 2025.
You've listened to our latest episode of Right Here, Right Now,